The door slammed shut with a force that echoed through my chest like a gunshot, and there stood Julia, her eyes wide with shock as she clutched a bouquet of wilting roses. Roses I'd bought her just hours ago. "Juliana, what the hell are you doing here?" she hissed, but it was too late. I'd already seen the damning emails on her laptop, the ones from her so-called wealthy sponsor, promising a life of luxury in exchange for her undivided attention. In that moment, the world I'd built around us crumbled, and I realized the woman I loved had been playing me for a fool all along. My mind raced back to how it all started, the whirlwind romance that felt like destiny in the bustling streets of New York City. Julia and I met at a queer rights rally 2 years ago, her voice cutting through the crowd as she spoke passionately about equality, her short black hair catching the sunlight like a raven's wing. I was drawn to her fire, her unapologetic stance against the world's judgments, and soon we were inseparable, sharing late-night confessions in my tiny Brooklyn apartment. But now, staring at those messages, I felt a betrayal so deep it hollowed me out. How could she, the one who preached authenticity, hide such a mercenary secret? Internally, I battled the storm. Part of me wanted to scream, to demand answers, but another voice whispered that maybe I deserved this for ignoring the red flags. Julia's family was old money from the Upper East Side, conservative Catholics who viewed her sexuality as a phase, a rebellion to be quashed with therapy or disinheritance. She told me stories of their pressure, how they cut her off financially when she came out at 22, forcing her to scrape by as a freelance graphic designer. Was this sponsor her escape hatch, a way to reclaim the privilege she'd lost? But no, that didn't justify lying to me, building a life together while plotting her exit. "Explain this," I demanded, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. Julia dropped the roses, petals scattering like broken promises. "It's not what you think, Juliana. She's just helping me. You know how hard it's been." Her words were a knife twist. She? The sponsor was a woman? My jealousy surged, mingling with hurt. I'd thought our love was a sanctuary from the world's cruelties, but here it was, tainted by deception. As she approached, her elegant red dress from our anniversary dinner now seeming like a costume, I stepped back. "Helping you leave me? That's what the emails say. Move in with her, start fresh." The argument escalated, voices rising in the confined space of her loft. Julia's defenses cracked. She admitted the sponsor, a tech mogul named Elena, had been funding her for months, starting as business mentorship but evolving into something more intimate. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she sobbed. But her tears felt performative, rehearsed for moments like this. Inside, I questioned everything. Was our first kiss under the Brooklyn Bridge genuine? Or just a step in her survival game? The societal whispers I'd fought, lesbians as unstable, relationships as fleeting, now echoed in my head, fueling self-doubt. Why hadn't I seen it? Because love blinds, I thought bitterly. Pushing past the pain, I grabbed my coat. "I'm done being your safety net." But as I left, the real conflict brewed. Exposing her could ruin her reputation in our tight-knit LGBTQ+ community, where trust was currency. Yet silence meant complicity in her lies. That night, alone in my apartment, I paced, weighing morals. Family pressures had shaped her, yes. Her parents' rejection left scars, making financial security an obsession. But my own family, working-class immigrants from Puerto Rico, had taught me pride over handouts. Was revenge justified, or would it make me the villain? The next day, the decision haunted me at work, my job as a social worker for at-risk youth mirroring my inner turmoil. A client, a young lesbian facing familial exile, reminded me of Julia's stories, stirring empathy. But betrayals sting one out. I drafted a post for our shared online circle, anonymous but pointed, hinting at Julia's double life without naming names. Hesitation gripped me. Was this ethical? Society already pitted us against each other. Did I want to feed that narrative? No, I rationalized. Truth was liberation. I hit send, and the fallout began. Whispers spread like wildfire. Friends texted, probing for details. Julia called incessantly, her voice frantic. "What have you done? This could destroy me." Guilt gnawed, but so did vindication. Hadn't she destroyed us first? Internally, I dissected my motives. Part spite, part self-preservation. In a world where queer women face double standards, expected to be flawless to counter stereotypes, Her actions reinforced the myths. But exposing her? That was my moral gray area, a choice I'd pay for. As the week unfolded, Julia's sponsor, Elena, surfaced in rumors, a powerful figure who'd sponsored many in the community, but with strings attached. I met a mutual friend for coffee, her words confirming my suspicions. Julia's not the first. Elena preys on vulnerability. Shock hit. Had Julia been manipulated? My anger shifted, complicating the narrative. Was she victim or perpetrator? The internal debate raged. Forgive and protect or stand firm? By evening, Julia showed up at my door, disheveled, eyes red. Please take it down. My parents found out. They're threatening to cut me off completely. Her plea tugged at my heartstrings, memories of our shared dreams flooding back. We'd planned a future defying odds. But trust was shattered. You chose this, I said, closing the door softly, the click echoing my resolve. Inside, doubt whispered. Was pride worth her ruin? The backlash hit harder than I anticipated. Rippling through our social circles like a stone in a pond, each wave carrying accusations my way. Juliana, you're stirring drama for what? Jealousy? A friend messaged, her words a punch to the gut. I stared at my phone, questioning if my revelation was empowerment or pettiness. Julia's life unraveled publicly now, her freelance gigs drying up as clients distanced themselves from the scandal. Part of me regretted it, but another voice insisted. She reaped what she sowed. Internally, the conflict deepened. Growing up in a household where my parents worked multiple jobs to support my coming out, I'd learned resilience without compromise. Julia's path, shadowed by privilege lost, seemed a cop-out. Yet, as I lay awake, I pondered society's role. How economic pressures force queer women into desperate alliances, especially when families turn their backs. Was Elena the real antagonist, exploiting that vulnerability? My mind spun scenarios. Julia as trapped, me as liberator. But no, her choices were hers. The next confrontation came at a community event in Manhattan, a fundraiser for LGBTQ+ youth. Julia cornered me in the restroom, her bob haircut slightly unkempt, a far cry from her usual poise. You think you're the hero? Elena's pulling strings to blacklist me everywhere. Her voice cracked, revealing raw fear. I felt a pang. This wasn't just about us. It was the system's cruelty amplified. Then why her? Why not tell me? I retorted, my heart aching. She leaned against the sink, sighing. Because you wouldn't understand. My family. They already see me as a failure. Elena offered stability, no judgments. Her admission stirred sympathy, but betrayal lingered. We were supposed to be each other's stability. As attendees mingled outside, oblivious, I wrestled. Retract the post and salvage her, or let truth prevail. Morality blurred. Exposing deceit protected others, but at what cost to her mental health? Post-event, I drove home through rain-slicked streets, the wipers mimicking my oscillating thoughts. Julia's parents had always loomed large in our relationship. Their disapproval manifested in ignored calls, withheld inheritance. I'd encouraged her independence, but perhaps I'd been naive, ignoring how class divides strained us. My own family, though supportive, struggled financially, no safety nets. Was my judgment classist? The internal monologue intensified. Pride versus compassion, justice versus mercy. A call from my sister interrupted. Heard about Julia. You okay? Her concern grounded me, reminding me of familial bonds Julia lacked. I'm trying to be, I replied, but doubt festered. That night I scrolled through old photos. Us at Pride beaming. Wondering if love could rebuild from ashes. But Elena's influence gnawed. Research revealed her as a serial mentor, leaving broken hearts. Anger resurged. Julia had traded authenticity for security. The plot thickened when Elena contacted me directly. A sleek email inviting coffee. To clear the air, she wrote. Curiosity won. We met at a upscale cafe in Soho. Elena, mid-40s, exuded confidence in her tailored suit, her presence commanding. Julia's talented but fragile. Your post hurt her more than me. Her words were calculated, probing my weaknesses. Internally I seethed. Was this manipulation? She hurt me first, I countered, but her smile suggested she knew more. As we talked, revelations poured. Elena admitted pursuing Julia romantically, knowing our relationship strains. Society doesn't make it easy for us. I offered what you couldn't, security. Her arrogance fueled my resolve. This wasn't mentorship but predation. Yet, Julia's complicity stung. Walking away, I pondered. Was I fighting for love or ego? The moral quandary deepened. Betraying a betrayer felt justified. But the collateral damage weighed heavy. Back home, Julia's text flooded in, pleading for reconciliation. I ended it with her. Please, let's talk. Hope flickered but caution prevailed. Our next meeting at a neutral park bench was tense. I was scared, she confessed, tears flowing. Losing my family's approval broke me. Elena filled the void. Her vulnerability cracked my armor, evoking shared pains of societal rejection. But trust? Shattered. Actions have consequences, I said, the words tasting bitter. As days blurred, the community's divide grew. Some sided with me, decrying deceit. Others pitted Julia, blaming systemic pressures. Internally, I questioned my role. Avenger or instigator? A therapy session helped unpack. You're grieving, the counselor said. But exposure was your truth-telling. Still, guilt lingered. Julia's isolation mirrored my own now. Friendships strained by the drama. Was this the price of pride? The turning point came unexpectedly. A family intervention that thrust Julia's world into sharper focus and forced me to confront my own hypocrisies. Her parents, upon learning of the scandal via social media leaks, summoned her to their penthouse, a place I'd never been invited. Julia called me in hysterics afterward. They want me to go back to therapy, deny everything, or else no more contact. Her voice broke, echoing years of conditional love. Sympathy surged, but so did resentment. Why drag me into this now? Internally, I battled. Help her face them or let her sink. My decision to accompany her stemmed from lingering affection, a foolish hope for closure. The elevator ride up felt eternal, my mind replaying our happiest moments against this backdrop of opulence. Julia's hand trembled in mine, a silent plea. Thank you, she whispered, but doubt whispered back. Was this manipulation? The confrontation was brutal. Her father, a stern banker, eyed me disdainfully. This lifestyle has ruined her. His words ignited my fury, societal prejudices laid bare. Julia's mother, poised and cold, added, "We can fix this. Elena was a mistake, but so is this path." Julia shrank, her usual fire dimmed. I spoke up. Love isn't a mistake. Your rejection is. The room tensed, accusations flying. Me as the enabler, Julia as the victim. Internally, I questioned. Was defending her enabling deceit? Julia's breakdown followed, sobs revealing depths of pain. I chose Elena because she didn't judge my past. You all do. Her confession humanized her, exposing mended fractures from familial wounds. But my hurt persisted. And me? Was I just convenient? The argument peaked, her parents threatening disinheritance unless she straightened out. Julia's choice loomed. Family or freedom? She wavered, glancing at me with regret. I can't lose them again. Heart sinking, I left alone, the city lights blurring through tears. Betrayal renewed. She'd chosen security over us once more. Internally, the moral tangle tightened. Society's homophobia fueled this, making families weapons. But personal accountability? Julia evaded it. That night, I confided in a support group, stories of similar heartaches validating my pain. You did right exposing it, one said. But did I? The debate raged within. Repercussions escalated. Elena, scorned, leaked private messages, twisting narratives to paint Julia as opportunistic. The community fractured further, petitions circulating for accountability. Julia's career suffered. Gigs canceled amid whispers. Guilt assailed me. Had my post ignited this inferno? Yet, it uncovered truths, protecting others from Elena's web. Morality shifted. Perhaps damage was necessary for growth. Julia's next move surprised. A public apology post, admitting faults without naming me. I let fear dictate choices. I'm sorry. Comments poured, some forgiving, others condemning. Internally, I pondered response, ignore or engage. Pride urged distance, but empathy pulled. We met again, coffee in hand, tensions palpable. I ended it for real. No more sponsors. Her eyes pleaded sincerity. Doubt lingered. How can I trust? Our dialogue delved deep, unpacking traumas, her family's emotional blackmail, my fear of abandonment from past relationships. Society pits us against survival, she said. True, but choices defined us. As we parted unresolved, I reflected. Was redemption possible amid ruins? The internal conflict peaked, weighing forgiveness against self-respect. Weeks later, my own family intervened. A dinner where truth spilled. You're hurting too, my mother said, hugging me. Their unconditional support contrasted Julia's void, highlighting inequities. Don't let bitterness win. Her words stirred change. Perhaps mercy was strength. But Julia's radio silence followed, rumors of her relocating stirring panic. Had exposure pushed her over the edge? The climax brewed when Elena confronted me publicly at a bar, her entourage amplifying drama. You think you're noble? Julia begged for my help. Lies, but seeds of doubt planted. Fists clenched, I retorted. She deserved better than your strings. The scene drew onlookers, escalating tensions. Internally, I realized. This wasn't just personal. It was a microcosm of queer struggles, power imbalances, societal scorn. My choice to walk away felt like victory, but at what price? Resolution loomed as Julia's absence stretched, her social media dark, fueling my worst fears. Had the pressure driven her to despair? Panic gripped, memories of her fragility haunting me. I reached out to mutual friends, piecing clues. She'd retreated to a cousin's in Chicago seeking space. Relief mixed with anger, running again? Internally, I dissected. Pursue closure or let go. The moral crossroads. My revelation sparked her awakening, but the toll? Immense. Driven by unresolved emotions, I booked a flight. The journey a mental gauntlet. Chicago's winds mirrored my turmoil as I arrived at her doorstep. Julia opened, surprise etching her features. Juliana? Why? Her voice wavered, inviting me in reluctantly. The apartment sparse spoke of fresh starts. I needed to see if you're okay. I admitted vulnerability exposed. The conversation unfolded raw. Hours of accusations and apologies. Your post forced me to face myself, she confessed. But it hurt everyone. Truth. My actions, though justified, rippled destructively. She detailed therapy sessions, confronting familial patterns. They disown me fully now. But I'm free. Pride swelled for her, but betrayal's scar throbbed. And us? I asked, heart-pounding. She hesitated. I loved you, but fear won. Elena was escape, not love. Honesty cut deep, confirming suspicions. Internally, I weighed forgive and rebuild or part as lessons learned. Society's lens complicated. Queer relationships scrutinized, failures amplified. But personal growth beckoned. I exposed you to protect myself, I said. Was that wrong? Her nod was ambivalent. Necessary, maybe. As night fell, we shared a tentative hug, closure tentative. Returning home, reflection dominated. The price of truth, lost love, strained ties, but gained integrity. Julia's journey mirrored mine, both paying for choices amid societal minefields. Friends noted my change. You're stronger. True, but scars lingered. Back in New York, community healing began. I volunteered more, channeling pain into advocacy against economic exploitation in queer spaces. Elena's influence waned, exposed by collective voices. Julia messaged sporadically, updates on her new life, therapy, honest work. Envy tinged my responses. She'd found peace quicker. Internally, doubt persisted. Did my revenge hinder or help? A pivotal moment. My promotion at work, recognizing my resilience. Colleagues praised. You turned heartbreak into purpose. But alone I pondered ethics, mouthwan dao duk in outing deceit. Society demanded perfection from us. Slips invited judgment. Was my action a stand against that or contribution? Julia's return visit surprised months later. I want to make amends. Over dinner, truths deepened. Her sponsor affair stemmed from internalized shame, familial rejection breeding desperation. I betrayed you to survive. Empathy bloomed. My exposure, though harsh, shattered illusions. We both paid, I said. Her nod sealed understanding. Yet, romance's embers cooled. Friendship emerged tentatively. Internally, I accepted. Love's loss taught boundaries. The narrative shifted, from victim to empowered. But questions haunted. In a prejudiced world, do desperate measures justify deceit? Julia's growth affirmed no, but nuances blurred lines. As time healed, I dated anew cautiously. Each connection tested lessons. Trust earned, red flags heeded. Julia's story became cautionary, shared anonymously in groups. Society's evolution lagged, but personal awakenings propelled change. The final reckoning. Was pride rebuilt worth the wreckage? Affirmative yet bittersweet. The aftermath solidified transformations. Julia thriving in Chicago with a stable job, her updates laced with gratitude. Your push saved me from myself. Her words soothed guilt, but introspection revealed my growth. From heartbroken to resilient. Internally I celebrated. Exposing truth, though painful, dismantled toxic dynamics. Yet, societal reflections lingered. How many queer women faced similar dilemmas balancing love with survival? Reconnecting with family grounded me. Their pride in my advocacy warmed. You fought for what's right, Dad said. But rightness? Debatable. Julia's parents remained estranged. A stark reminder of unyielding prejudices. Her choice to cut ties fully inspired. No more begging for approval. Mine echoed, prioritizing self over illusions. Community events now felt empowering. My story whispered as resilience tale. A panel discussion invited me. Navigating betrayal in queer relationships. Speaking out, I highlighted systemic issues, economic disparities, familial pressures fueling deceit. Attendees nodded, sharing parallels. Internally, validation surged. My actions sparked dialogue, challenging norms. Julia attended virtually, her message post-event. Proud of you. Warmth flickered but boundaries held, no rekindling. Love's evolution. From passion to respect. The moral ledger balanced. Exposure damaged but awakened. In therapy I unpacked. Revenge or justice? Counselor. Context matters. True. In a world stacking odds, survival tactics clashed with ethics. As seasons changed, I met someone new, Alex, whose honesty refreshed. Our dates, simple and true, contrasted Julia's drama. No secrets, she promised, easing fears. Internally I vowed. Learn from past, not dwell. Julia's sponsor, Elena, faded into obscurity, lawsuits hinting at her downfall. Vindication tasted sweet, but hollow, personal costs outweighed. Reflecting on the journey, highs and lows intertwined. Initial shock, confrontations, revelations, redemptions. Each decision carried weight, shaping identities amid societal scrutiny. Queer love's fragility, amplified by external forces, demanded vigilance. My pride rebuilt not through vengeance but self-discovery. Julia's final call sealed chapters. I'm happy now. Thank you for the wake-up. Closure arrived, bittersweet. We parted as allies, scars badges of survival. The narrative's end posed lingering queries on choice's righteousness. In hindsight, the saga illuminated human complexities, betrayal born of fear, exposure from hurt, growth from ashes. Society's role? Catalyst for conflicts. Personal accountability triumphed, but at steep prices. Was revealing the truth, despite the pain it caused, ultimately the right choice in a world that forces such desperate measures?